What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everybody's doing well, and we got some amazing news yesterday, a few hours after I posted my video, and us in the XRP community have been waiting for this day for almost 4 years. So this is a really big win for the company Ripple. We already knew that XRP is not a security, but we got the final piece for the amount of the civil penalty on the institutional XRP sales. So just like Brad says, the SEC asked for $2 billion and the court reduced their demand by 94%, recognizing that they had overplayed their hand. We respect the court's decision and have clarity to continue growing our company. This is a victory for Ripple, the industry, and the rule of law. The SEC's headwinds against the whole of the XRP community are gone. We also had XRP Crypto Wolf share this. This is a quick summary if you guys want to pause the screen and read about the SEC's remedies and the court decision. And if you want to see the full document of the court case, we have shared by Crypto Law US. Make sure this is the verified account with the gold checkmark. Just added the court order on the SEC's motion for remedies, where Judge Torres ordered the company Ripple to pay $125 million civil penalty only on institutional XRP sales and denied the SEC's demand for disgorgement. So we can see the document. The date filed was yesterday, August 7th, and this is not too long of a read, about 16 pages, and the number that I'm relieved to see is on the final page. The civil penalty is nowhere near the amount the SEC was looking for. Next up, I thought this is interesting, and this was shared by Matt. If you think that Ripple the company cannot sell XRP in a securities transaction, you are being misinformed. Ripple can sell to institutions as long as they claim a federal securities exemption. Such sales are exempt from SEC registration provisions. And as we scroll down on this post, it looks like Brad Garlinghouse did like his post. And I'm checking out his page, still following 589 people. I just can't see his likes. Next up, I want to share a really good clip put out by Will or Crypto Insight UK. Big thank you for this. He held a Twitter Spaces with Fred Rispoli, who is an attorney in the space, to get his expert legal opinion on the Ripple vs. SEC case.
Had time to do everything properly, but just your thoughts for the end of for this ruling.
Yeah, no worries. I would define this as a very big win for Ripple. They didn't get everything they wanted, but considering where they were heading into this ruling, they got most of what they wanted. There is still regulatory ambiguity as to what Ripple is doing post-complaint. So since the filing of the lawsuit, Ripple has alleged that everything they're doing now would not be violative of the activity that was ruled as violating federal securities.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC says it is, but the court explicitly said that's a matter for another day, and she wasn't going to get into that fight. And so that's going to fall on the SEC to decide how or if they want to attack that. The SEC obviously got a small fraction of what they asked for. They got $125 million instead of $2 billion. And it strengthened the case law that where there's no losses to investors, you can't get the disgorgement money that you want. And then there's the issue that the court also ruled that Ripple did not engage in real poor behavior post-order in the sense that they've tried to at least allege that they've done things to not be violative of federal securities laws. And then ultimately, we have an order that says Ripple can't violate federal securities laws, which really any company can't do. And so there's still questions as to what that means going forward. But as of now, the $125 million will not be difficult for Ripple to pay, and it'll be tough for the SEC to put that at risk if they appeal. And so Ripple's in the driver's seat.
So really good information there. Big thank you to Will for having Fred on, and big thank you to all attorneys out there in the XRP community, because I'm no legal expert, I listen to them. Next up, shared by Grayscale, we can see we are proud to announce the creation of 2 new single-asset crypto investment funds available through private placement. So we have the Grayscale BitTensor Trust for TAO, TAO, and then the Grayscale Sweet Trust, SUI. So if you guys are watching my videos back in January, February, and March, we were talking about Maverick Protocol, we were talking about SUI or SWI, we were talking about SEI, and a variety of assets. And since Bitcoin reached an all-time price, these assets have been absolutely hammered, but they had a strong uptrend initially, including TAO. So we have SWI on the left and Maverick Protocol on the right. This is a dynamic AMM, and both of these assets, since their March high, remember, in March, this is when Bitcoin created that all-time price over 73K, and both of these assets have been absolutely hammered since then. So wick to wick pulling back about 78%, and then Mav wick to wick about 85%. So we didn't get Bitcoin's first major move here well past 80K or 100K like previous cycles, and we've been consolidating since then. If we get a bull run in the future per a variety of assets, and it makes sense with the pivot levels, I am still eyeing a lot of these liquidity wicks for both of these assets. And that's just something I'd be looking at over the long term if we get another cycle like the previous cycles, because when the past cycles took place, alts got their dominance, a variety of assets retraced to their swing highs, even these liquidity wicks. And a variety of assets have pulled back substantially, so we don't know where the bottoming structure is going to be, if we're close or we're still ways away, but during the typical retracement, when Bitcoin dominance crashes, we see a lot of alts wake up again. I saw Marty share this. Breaking news, Brazil regulators approve the first Solana spot ETF partnering with CME Group, and it will be live in 90 days. So we have basically the SEC in Brazil, the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission, has approved the launch of the first Solana spot ETF in Brazil and worldwide. So we linked a source down below, and that takes us right to Cointelegraph. We can check this out. And we can see that they approved the first spot Solana ETF in Brazil. So looking at Solana, we know that this is a top 5 asset. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, we have a stablecoin, we have BNB, and Solana. We already have the Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs here in the US, so it's likely that Solana's next, maybe even XRP or other assets in the top 20. Looking at Solana, my biggest regret over this past bear market is I didn't just YOLO into it and accumulate it at the lows, and we can see that it did retrace just over the 786, and it's pulled back thus far right to the weekly 50 moving average. So just like Bitcoin pulling back to the 50-week moving average. Pull up Bitcoin really quick, and we can see that it also pulled back with that recent wick. So I know a lot of institutional investors favor Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and we also know VanEck's prediction over the coming years for Solana to reach about $3,200, which is also around the 13 Fibonacci extension. So we know that absolutely anything is possible in this crazy space, and we're likely going to see a lot more volatility in the future because BVOL's increased, and this is Bitcoin's volatility index. So we're talking about this at 14, 15, now we're over 25. So we haven't been over 50 in over 2 years, and it's been relatively boring in the crypto asset class. When Bitcoin's volatility index is at a higher level, that means that there are bigger price swings for the Bitcoin price chart. Instead of 5% swings, we could potentially see 15 or 20% plus moves, and when Bitcoin is more volatile, there's a lot more volatility and excitement in the altcoin market as well. So we've been ranging in these lows somewhat in accumulation. We can see the weekly RSI is starting to rise, and the monthly RSI is approaching the 50 line or the middle line. So we don't want to reject that. For the bullish case, I do want to see BVOL get back up to previous cycle levels between 50 to 100%. Because if you've paid attention to altcoins and price charts over the past 2+ years, I know you remember some weeks or months where alts really just didn't move. It was boring, it was illiquid, they're fluctuating 2% a day, and during previous cycles we saw 10, 20, 30% plus moves. So seeing the BVOL go up is something I absolutely want to see. And I also want to see history rhyme again with confirmation from Bitcoin getting that first monthly candle taking out its previous cycle top like we've seen over the past 3 cycles. This time is different, we've been consolidating for months. But as long as Bitcoin is still within the range of the previous cycle and we are in the uptrend, I'm just waiting. So either getting confirmation from Bitcoin drawing its first major move past its previous cycle top, and then also looking at Bitcoin dominance awaiting for us to find our top and our crash, because historically, during these crashes, in 2017 for Bitcoin dominance, in 2021, alts go up. So I'm waiting on 2 things, either Bitcoin dominance crashing like previous cycles for an alt season, or Bitcoin dominance to draw its first major move past its previous cycle top. Remember, here's the previous cycle top. This was the major move, that first monthly candle, over 40%. If we got anything similar to that, that's 100K. If it was half of that, that's still over 80,000. And that's just referring to the first major move, that first monthly candle. We know the price rises and potential for back-to-back consecutive candles. Looking at the XRP price chart, we're definitely seeing heightened volatility, which is good to see some signs of life. Even yesterday's daily candle wick to wick was about 30%, so good to see. I'm expecting just a bunch of volatility for XRP. And friendly reminder, guys, if you're in the crypto space, be sure to have a TradingView account that's linked in the video description. You can use a completely free version. You can look at any chart, you can make a watch list and go through it. If you wanted to pay for it, then you can do other features and look at screens side by side. But overall, it's so important to just have TradingView. The mobile version works, but I do prefer just to be on my PC, look at charts, set alerts, and it's all free. I prefer that instead of just looking at exchanges or a portfolio tracker because I want to navigate through time frames, add trend lines, different things like that. So feel free to check that out. The TradingView link is linked in the top of this YouTube video description. Next up, for Algorand, we can see that they've officially surpassed over 2 billion total on-chain transactions. I also want to go through this. This is Casper Labs and Grayscale AI, inspection as a service with Prove AI for AI governance. So in yesterday's video, I shared the contract address that I found on Casper Live, and it was added an hour or two ago, and we've had a bunch of transactions since then, so let's dive in. So I posted this yesterday, Prove AI, Grayscale AI, under the contracts for Casper Network, and we can see 30-day activity. We had 10 transactions when it was added just an hour ago. And if you want to look at this yourself, you can go to CSPR.live and then just go to contracts for the public network. And then we can sort by 30-day development activity. And we can see right there, Prove AI. So what's interesting is this was added just 1 day ago, and they already have over 22,000 transactions. Looking at these other contracts, they've been around, so their 30-day deployment activity is higher. So basically, Prove AI did this in a single day. So just imagine after getting 30 full days of data, it will be the #1 contract in terms of transactions or deployments. And notice this contract is labeled Prove AI for the partner Grayscale AI, so I assume for any future partners leveraging Prove AI, it should be labeled Prove AI with the company name. So it's great to see an enterprise application finally hit Casper's mainnet and begin to scale up, and we can see the live transactions right there and how much Casper is required for each deployment. It's been a bumpy road since the IPE news back in January, and then the recent security breach was icing on the cake, so it's been a wild ride for sure. So definitely hoping to see a successful Condor upgrade and for Prove AI to scale with more partners. And speaking of security breaches, we also had Nexera or Alliance Block. It seems they experienced a hack, and we can look at the price chart, so Casper's not the only one. So let's go through some bullet points for Casper Labs and Grayscale AI. We've gone over Grayscale AI before in past videos. So Grayscale AI uses advanced machine learning and X-ray imaging technology to detect contaminants during the food packaging process, a process for which good AI governance is critical. It works with some of the largest food distributors and retailers to ensure that contaminated food samples are isolated and do not reach the market. So obviously governance is incredibly important for a variety of industry verticals to provide quality assurance, etc. When Grayscale AI's system detects contamination, the sample is removed from the supply chain before causing problems or triggering a recall. Its ability to isolate these and other contaminated samples from hundreds of thousands of individual data points provides the needed assurance that no tainted samples are making it through the system. Explaining the data is encrypted and sent to Grayscale AI's private network, which prevents any data manipulation. This encrypted data is then further anonymized and secured on the Casper public network, ensuring for all parties that every piece of data has not been tampered with and is fully verifiable. So the benefits of blockchain: tamper-proof resistance and an audit log. So we've gone through these benefits before: traceability, security, transparency, optimizing data management, and facilitating compliance. And we can see that Casper Network said yesterday that Casper Labs and Grayscale AI recorded 20,000 data lots on Casper's mainnet, with 280,000 more to come. So really cool to see that. Remember that Prove AI is in collaboration with IBM. They've built a dashboard. We can see that the data is encrypted and further anonymized and secured on Casper's public network. So this data is still private, but it's verified on a public network. So all of this is really important for compliance, specifically for enterprises. We can see ensuring data privacy. The quality assurance logs for each sample are readily available to all relevant parties. This all happens on the Grayscale AI's governance dashboard, powered by Casper Labs Prove AI. So it's good to see that Prove AI is finally starting to scale up. Now let's see Casper get listed on other T1 exchanges like Binance, Kraken, and Coinbase. And to finish up today's video, guys, we have Ledger announcing Ledger Flex. So I'm going to play a 30-second clip of this new device. If you guys are interested, this is linked in the top of the YouTube video description. A huge thank you to all that hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and sharing your thoughts down below. As always, you can find all links, including resources for charting, trading bots, platforms, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts in my link tree at the top of the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.